When things as horrific as the Minneapolis trans shooter happen, the first thing that we ask is how can we prevent this? How can we prevent that a 23-year-old male just snaps and begins shooting children at a church? And one of the things that we know that this guy wrote on his diary, one of the last things that he wrote, is that he wishes he didn't brainwash himself into this, into the transgender stuff. He didn't want to be transgender anymore. He had invested so much into this, and it was already part of his identity, but it seems that the guy wanted out. But it was tragic, the outcome. Now, this begs the question, to what extent the parents of these monsters can be held liable and prosecuted for their actions, even if this guy was an adult? And that's when you find out that, the parents, both the father, who was an ex-CIA, we need to do a full reporting on this, but the mother is a legit, de facto, not case. We have this. The mother of the Minneapolis trans school shooter, Mary Grace Westman, requests for people to respect her son's preferred pronouns. He went by she, her. And I would tell this mother, why don't you get wrecked? We are not going to respect any mental illness. We couldn't care less about the mental illness you helped nurture, develop, infect your son. It's that simple. You are liable for this, and you're doubling down in a way that I don't understand. False compassion creates monsters. Says Daniel O'Connor. Cooperating with another's sin or deception is not love. It is hatred. It hands that person over to his demons. Was this possessed man's mother listening to James Martin's advice? Who was that Catholic priest in Minneapolis that he advises for trans rights and stuff? You know that Minneapolis is lost. Minneapolis is worse than anything that I could have thought. Pray for all involved. Lord, have mercy. There's a lot of stuff in here, like mother who groomed gunman and facilitated his transition will not cooperate with police. Why am I not surprised? Why am I not surprised? And has hired criminal defense lawyer. She is complicit. This happens all the time. They say, I need to transition my kid for social cloud. All my friends have a transition. One. So some of them have 2 kids who have transitioned. Why can't you be normal like the other kids? Why can't you transition? This is an actual disease. This is like how they say about AWFL, affluent, white, liberal females. Women. This is something that is destroying America, one school shooting at a time, and there's a pattern in there. How is this possible to stop? And you begin to see signs that don't make sense, or I could say that makes sense or make too much sense. Minneapolis shooter Robin Westman's mom once starred in a film directed by daughter she gave up for adoption. And I saw this and okay, this is the New York Post. How bad can this be? And yeah, the thing is that this is worse than you can imagine. That is exactly what happened. The mother of transgender Minneapolis mass shooter Robert Westman once appeared in a movie made by her daughter who she gave up for adoption as a child. What? And Mary Grace Westman, who's 67 years old, starred in the short film Mary Meets Grace, written and directed by her biological daughter, Farrell Amadeus, who is 44 years old, who was adopted as a child from Kentucky. That 2021 short film, which appeared in several festivals, was a fictionalized retelling of Amadeus' real-life reunion with her biological mom, played by Mary Grace herself. My birth mother, who appears in the film, found me in 2005, and we later reunited with my bio dad in 2012. The emotional mystery of adoption could fuel countless stories. My birth mom was so generous with this project. She lent me photographs of herself. She flew during the pandemic to film. Oh, how great. How lovely, right? This could actually be a wholesome story. This should be a wholesome story, because why not? You know, a desperate girl gives her infant daughter in adoption. That daughter grows up to be a filmmaker and begins looking for her biological mother and makes a movie. When you look at this could actually work. Like a wholesome story. Why not? But in 2005, Amadeus traveled to Minnesota to meet her five half siblings, which would include a then 3-year-old Robert, the Daily Mail reported. Amadeus was born and shipped from Kentucky like a box of whiskey and adopted into a family from Brooklyn. She graduated from NYU's Tisch School of the Arts Experimental Theater Wing, according to her IMDb. Her films focus on themes of family, grief, isolation, and yearning to belong. You can imagine why. Amadeus is not included in the twisted letter written by Robert Westman that was addressed to family members, including several siblings. Mary Grace, who was blamed by the shooter for inspiring his unquenchable thirst for murder, rushed back to Minneapolis for her second home in Naples, Florida, which was raided by the law enforcement on Wednesday. Oh, right. She previously worked as a secretary. This is even more disturbing. At Annunciation Catholic School, the site of Wednesday mass shooting. Again, this all connected. Her son, who killed 2 children and wounded 18 other parishioners in the rampage, graduated from Annunciation Catholic School in 2017. Mary Grace divorced James Westman in 2013. So this is, how can you turn the potential for something that like actually turning your life around? Because I can understand your life could be in the gutter right now. And yes, a lot of praying, a lot of prayer goes into that. And knowing how to find the path to redemption. That's something that we all should strive for. I have said this time and time again. Everyone has a path to redemption and to redeem themselves and to find God and to find Christ. This is something that we need. I have been there. I have gone through every single stage that you could imagine. I have been an atheist, agnostic, deist, full-on Catholic, all the complete spectrum. And absolutely nothing beats believing in God and praying. Why do we pray? I'm going to make a video about praying, by the way. Why do we pray? We pray for clarity and faith. I can do this. I can get out of the gutter. I can make my life better. I can make my family's lives better. I can make my community's lives better. I can, find the righteous path. Whatever you want to call it and whatever you think is a righteous path. But what happens sometimes? You get absolutely lost in, okay, let's transition. Let's help our boy transition into a girl. Because some kind of Catholic priest says that, trans kid we have to embrace trans kids as well. We have to embrace mental illness like it's no big deal, right? That is the thing that these people are pushing. That is how the mother thought this was the right way to redeem herself. Oh yeah, this is gonna get me closer to God, right? Pump all these hormones on my boy and entertain all his mental illness. And after the fact, after everything has happened, she has the gall to demand that we endorse her son's mental illness as well. we will not endorse anything of the sort. We will not endorse this. Because precisely because the endorsement of this, a video I made about Tim Walz on my Power Pundit channel, he has been endorsing and pushing this narrative of Minnesota to the point that is vomit inducing. Then this is the problem. You push that narrative over and over again. And I'm not gonna say that your parents getting divorced is the end of the world. It is not. Many people manage to, okay, it is never easy on the kids. It is never easy on the kids. But many people overcome that, and many people become functional human beings after that. Even if it's a shock for the kids. But if you are in that situation and you have so much confusion, should we say, around you, and you have so much enabling behavior around you, what do you think is going to happen? What do you expect is going to happen? This is going to happen. That is the thing. We can be in bad situations, and maybe you can use prayer, maybe you can use other ways to find yourself and your path. The end is to try to find the good path in a way that doesn't hurt others, which it seems that it's hard enough these days. But I would like to know what you think about this in the comments. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Battle Language Guy. Much love and bliss.